Should you light up a fatty next to a pregnant person at a concert full of stoners?
In North Carolina, medical weed may be coming soon.
Locally, Trulieve's petition numbers gets higher.
And we talked to one of our favorite TikTokers, Fran Symons, who lost a job due to a mishandled drug test result, and now she's finding ways to advocate for workplace protections.
All this and a whole lot of smoke on today's show. Hey, welcome back, or welcome if you're new to the show. I'm Sunny D.
And I'm Captain J.
And we're the Pot Smoking Moms. If you like our show, please rate, subscribe, share, and be friends with us on all of our social media handles. They're located at potsmokingmoms.com. That's our website. So link up with us there. DM us. You can leave us a voicemail on Anchor and we'll play it on the show. You know, we love interacting with you guys, so definitely hit us up.
But before we get into the show, we got to get our heads right. So let's get a smoke sesh.
Yeah.
Smoke.
You do need
a smoke sesh going. I need some weed, bro.
You for real. Let's
I
all
haven't smoked since I got home from work.
Pack your bowls. It's time for a Fluent smoke sesh. Hey, we want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Fluent. Please go to our Instagram and click on our Fluent link to get rewards. That way you go, you purchase your weed, and you rack up some points for a little sweet little treat.
I actually hit up the North Miami branch store. Look at me, sound like a banker. Today to re-up, and I picked up quite a few strains, but tonight I'm smoking something that says it's previously known as Odra. This hybrid boasts its complex effects and earthy aromas with notes of citrus, skunk, and spice. OG Kush is described by patients as relaxed, giggly, and mildly drowsy. It balances a unique combination of mental stimulation and improvement in mood. Oh, I need this. Proving this is a social strain fit for parties and stimulating conversations.
Oh.
So we're going to have a stimulating conversation. Another reason for the popularity might be its consistently strong potency. Oh,
You're a fan of that.
Like that. Often being used to relieve depression, pain, and loss of appetite. Major terpenes are terpenoline and farnesene. I don't know these terpenes.
I honestly, that's the first time I've seen those.
I've seen terpenoline before, but like
farnesene, I've never heard of either.
Yeah.
So I have something here that when I was looking, when I went to the North Miami store, I was looking through all of the strains that they had. And this one reminded me of you. It's called Origins Captain Stash.
Give me my stash back.
It's an indica dominant hybrid that delivers a well-balanced experience. Its aromas intricate, featuring earthy, spicy, grassy, and slightly piney notes.
Gassy.
The flavor, gassy. It is gassy.
No, I thought you said grassy.
Oh, I love that. I love gassy
I know
weed.
You love gassy weed.
The flavor of Captain Stash is equally intricate with hints of hashy sweetness, coffee, spice, lemon, and pine. This combination produces a distinct and pleasant taste that lingers on the palate. The strain is recognized for its capacity to stimulate a happy and imaginative mindset, making it a fantastic option for individuals seeking a creative boost.
Go.
Major terpenes: myrcene, limonene, and caryophyllene.
See, those are the usual suspects.
Those are the usual suspects.
Cheers.
Trusted.
Light up with us, guys.
Yeah, if you got it, smoke it.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Tastes very nice.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I want more of it. I actually, We're cracking
Oh.
out the Valentine's, love. If you're watching the show, you'll see a couple graphics come up here and there. And if you're not watching the show, what are you doing? Come watch the show. Smoke with us.
Smoke with us. Watch us smoke.
Yeah, smoke with us on YouTubes. Subscribe to our YouTubes. We're working on our YouTubes. We see you. We thank you. And we're going to continue posting videos
And
there.
we do see the views going up. So some of y'all are switching the media ways to watch us.
Yeah,
So that's awesome.
well,
Thank you so much.
We also offered the video on Spotify. So I don't know if anybody got a chance to view the video that way. But yes, video. It's not just for patrons anymore. You guys are totally
We have like
catching it.
graphics and pictures that were popping up, things that we're talking about. So check it out.
Check it out. Special thanks to our patrons. We can't do this without you. And if you want to become a patron, check it out. Potsmokingmoms.com. The link is there for our Patreon. You can see this episode, our interviews,
extra content,
yeah.
Discord chat. Discord has been the best thing that we've ever decided to do.
Yeah, because you can just pop in there and see who's available and smoke.
For as little as $1 a month. We have tiers from 1, 5, 10, 15.
For as little as $1 a month.
$1 a month.
Sally Struthering over here. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a QR code that'll take you directly to our Patreon. Thank you, Uncle Jesse, for flashing that up. Ooh, I like that little sparkle around it.
If you can't contribute, that's fine. Just rate, review, share our podcast, interact with our posts. All that really helps us out. Buy from our sponsors, any brands that we promote and stuff like that. All those little things really help us out. And we really appreciate you. Leave us a review. We will send you a sticker. Just hit us up in the DMs. Let us know you left the review.
Tell us.
We'll send you some stickers.
For real, bro. I haven't sent any stickers out. Which actually, we should probably buy more stickers.
We do, but we're about to possibly change our logo. So
right. We're working on.
We are working on updating her.
And trying to make her a little bit more inclusive. So, everybody feels represented. I feel like that's one of the important missions here, right? Is like, we want to see ourselves reflective out there. So, working on that.
Those of you that have been here since the beginning know that her name is Esa Tipa.
I know.
And if you know Spanish, that's what we called her.
Esa Tipa means
that chick or that lady.
Chick, that lady in Spanish.
It was just how she got dubbed in our conversations when we spoke about her.
So we're giving her a little update.
So stick around. So
stick
new
around.
merch will be coming with that. But we'll probably always keep the original logo on some exclusive merch items available, on our store, if it ever happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've been trying to get to it.
Trying to juggle a lot of things here.
I mean, because we're also doing our meetup now with our patrons.
Yeah, we're doing
this weekend.
That's gonna be so fun.
Literally this weekend, in just a few days, we will be there.
Looking super forward to it. Okay, so it's Wednesday today, but if you are going to be in the Orlando area this weekend, the 10th through the 12th, check our Instagram. We have put up the itinerary of what we're gonna do. So maybe you can come and hang out with us.
Yeah. We're gonna be going to dinner one night. Universal and that area on Saturday, and then brunch on Sunday. So check it out. Let us know if you can come. We need to know soon because we're going to be making our reservation for dinner. So yeah.
So tell us, and then you know what? You'll see that on the social media handles.
You're going to definitely see it in our stories for sure. Another thing we've been busy planning is the bud crawl for Miami. So
yeah, we're bringing the bud crawl. We did it in Orlando. It was awesome. We're bringing it to Miami. It's gonna be extra awesome. So please, it's May 6th is the day of the bud crawl. Tickets should be going on sale soon. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Favorite our posts or something for them. Like, they put a little what is it called? An alert or some shit? I don't even know.
We'll put a post with a reminder. Set that reminder. It when you post it, you can put a little reminder.
Oh, you post it, put a reminder, and then whoever clicks on it saves it in their calendar and it reminds them.
Yeah, or I think Instagram may push out a notification to you or something like that.
I love it.
So set that reminder for it when we post about it.
Yes.
It's coming soon. We have Vitacan and Grow Healthy on board.
Yes, two very, very good dispensaries with high quality.
And one more coming soon.
Flour. That's really our main shtick is the flour. We love the flour. I mean, it's like an OG, right? So we're gonna talk about Alt Pro Expo. We just went this weekend. It was pretty wild. It was pretty fun.
It was a really
we
good
had a blast.
expo. It was.
I think we had a lot of fun, especially because we had a group of friends. We went with a couple of our girlfriends, some patrons. What was I gonna tie into?
Oh, the gummies? Are you not gonna say anything about the gummies?
Oh, the mushroom gummies?
Yeah.
Well, I was
actually both our patrons are the ones that it affected the most. The gummies.
Yeah, those were cool. It was muscaria amarita. I don't know if it's like
I didn't feel any effects though. If I did, it was very light.
Well,
because I was also really high because we were smoking.
Right. I did. I felt but I also took a THC gummy from that other place, that big stone head or something. The Amish people with the gorilla and the pink.
That you bought
I bought edibles from them. I bought pre-rolls from them, which I don't know. I gotta give it another shot because we smoked it that day and we were like,
I mean, it's THCA, which is very confusing.
Right, because when we got there, okay, that's another thing. Because we got to the we try to keep ourselves informed, and this is why we go to things like this. But like, there's a lot of stuff on the market right now, and I don't know if it's because people are trying to use loopholes to try to like make more products to get more products in, like the Delta 8 stuff.
They're just isolating more and more cannabinoids from hemp, like deriving more from
But I also think that shit is in regards to mushrooms too. I don't know, because the mushroom gummies that we had was a different strain of mushroom.
It was a mushroom that is not illegal. It's a legal one. And the way, because it just basically says like legal shrooms. But he explained it that it was not it's not like psilocybin, that it was not as strong. He said it was more like taking a microdose.
It's like a fucking Delta 8 of and like, he's like,
you just have mushrooms. You just have like a good day,
It's a Delta 8 of mushrooms, I think.
But I don't think it's derived from psilocybin. It's not like a derivative of it. It's another mushroom completely.
Right, but
it's not like a piece of the mushroom, I don't think. He made it seem like it was a different mushroom completely, and it wasn't psilocybin. But that's another thing. A lot of the vendors that they had, like the people they had working, weren't knowledgeable enough to really explain the products.
I think everybody was there. So it's mainly like for other smoke shops and companies for them to carry these people's products, right? Because there was Metal Fellows there, and they're in a lot of smoke shops too, and a lot of these brands.
It's like a B2B.
A lot of stuff too
expo
was business. Right. A lot of things too were like vapes.
Everything,
and it was primarily vape. I mean, it was a slew of different things because we even saw some very beautiful glassware there.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I should cut in some shots of the stuff that we saw.
We should have done.
But we saw lots of nice glass pieces. A lot of vapes. One of the vapes, we were fucking floored because it was nostalgic as fuck and they looked like highlighters, right?
Yeah, like the highlighters from high school, like from being in school and highlighting. The literal highlighter brand.
Right. The highlighter brand. Yeah. Highlighter, but it was a vape that looked like a highlighter.
Yeah. And the tip that you normally write with was just like a stopper that you took off.
Right.
And then you would hit it.
Right. We but it was vapes nonetheless, and a lot of it is nicotine.
Extremely nostalgic for me because my very first piece that I ever bought myself,
like bowl,
ever piece to smoke out of, because I didn't know how to roll anything. I was in high school. I was senior year of high school. First piece I ever bought myself was at a smoke shop, and they had like a lot of like discreet things that they're things, but they're not what you think it is. Like false bottoms on like Coke cans or whatever to hide your stash. Well, it was a bowl, but it looked like a highlighter. It just looked like a highlighter. And you didn't, unless you knew how to open it and
Right.
access it, you didn't know it was a bowl.
Right.
And the highlighter even wrote on the other end.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
worked. So like if somebody tried to pick up and use it, it would work. So they wouldn't just throw it away.
Wow. My husband's stepmom had a lipstick one. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I named
hers
it
is-
incognito.
But hers didn't have it didn't have put lipstick on for real. So that was pretty dope. Like the highlighter, really,
Yeah,
really
I was like, I lived at my dad's house at the time, so I had to be,
super covert.
yeah, very careful.
Hide that shit. I still got caught, even though I was so covert about it. Did you ever get caught?
Yeah, but I was already out of high school when my mom found like a cellophane in my purse. They had like a stem in it. And that was because I was at somebody's house and we were rolling up and I was trying to be courteous and not leave stems in
Right.
their trash or whatever. Or we were packing bowls. I think that's what it was. And I didn't want to leave it just in their trash where they would get in trouble. And in the end, I got in trouble
Yeah.
for it. Why I kept it? I don't know. I should have thrown it away.
A fucking stem.
A
Goddamn
stem.
stem. Goddamn stem. Anyways. Oh, so yeah. Oh, there was it was just all kinds of stuff happening.
Yeah, HHC, THCA,
Oh, yeah, right. HHC, THCA.
THCP or THCO, and
Oh my gosh. What? I was just like, where can you guys just point me in the direction of just a THC? Where is that?
it wasn't there, bro.
It was not there.
But it was still a lot of cool stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that really enjoy those products, that really enjoy like Delta 8 and Delta 9 and HHC apparently is the new thing.
I
So-
think, and you know what? Like we'll definitely follow up with those. The thing is like we ask
I feel
people
like we
there,
need to ask a professional to come in and
right,
explain
and
it to
explain
us.
and to kind of just because there's so many now, like right. We were like a year ago, we were like Delta 8, and then
What is Delta-
now we're
Now
like,
there's like-
what? I was so frustrated because I was like, there's too many letters all over the place. I can't deal with this. I don't even know what to ask anymore. Like, so
Yeah.
but it was lots of fun. There were dancing robots there.
Dancing
And
robot.
then
and a lot of half naked women. Like a lot.
Well, this is a thing.
Like the ones, like just being outside, like each of the vendors looking cute, like
Sex
trying to
still
get people to come
sells
up to their
in 2023, bro.
Well, because-
Nalgas
okay,
sell
honestly,
products.
like statistic wise, this business, all the vendors that were there were really aimed towards like smoke shops, those kind of businesses, because that's the kind of businesses that buy their products. So like statistically, like most smoke shops
very
are
bro.
owned by
It was
men.
very bro-ish. Yes.
Very.
Yeah, very bro-ish. Which actually, and now in retrospect, I'm like, damn, yeah, for real, very bro-ish. It was, like, and that's the thing. Sex sells. If that's your target audience, if that's your demographic, you want to sell, and a sexy lady is gonna sell the product. I don't know about trolls.
The lady
I
is
was-
just there to get them to come in and look at their stuff.
right.
And then at that point, like, because if a bunch of people you have to still have a good product. There's a lot of options there. They're not going to buy it just because there's a sexy lady.
Yeah, but they got better.
But they'll come
odds.
look at it because they want to look at that ass closer.
We should. I kept laughing and telling you guys. I don't think there's an agency out there that you can hire trolls to sell your products. They're like warts, and they look like trolls from the forest trying to sell like their vapes with long fingers.
I mean, that might work.
That
If I saw a real troll, I'd be like,
wow.
whoa.
I'd be like, damn, dog, you guys went all out with the troll theme. I was saying that metaphorically, like
I know. I'm
but that would be pretty dope. A whole mushroom brand, and it's like a whole troll takes you into the village for your mushrooms.
In the end, we had a great time.
All Pro Expo.
Yo, that's a big topic you got there. That's a big accomplishment.
Oh yeah, because we've been going back and forth. So on a personal note, we got potty trained. We are potty trains.
How many days has it been?
It's been like a week maybe, and it's been like pretty consistent. We're still putting pull-ups to
Wow.
bed to go to bed,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah. That's
You know, and then sometimes like if I'm not on it, because like you have to still be on it. If you just leave it up to them the whole time, they're going and they have diapers on. So I'm on it. Like we do morning routine. Let's pick underwear out. And then it's like she's ran to the bathroom before and been like, oh, and then gone.
all
And I get in there
right.
and I'm like, you went already? And she's like, yeah. I look in the top potty and she's gone already. So
Congratulations.
yeah,
It's a
man. It's awesome.
big thing.
I'm
Finally.
still wiping butts, but at least it's like
You're still wiping butts. Definitely. They do not how to get it all clean yet.
No, but
Dude, I was wiping butts of my brothers until they were pretty big. They would freaking call me Jessie, Gaga. They would be like, "Wipe my ass."
hey, as the youngest child in my family, I gotta say it was a while before I cleaned my own ass. Because I remember being the one going, Mom, 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 Mom. It's like, how long are you gonna take? Come wipe my butt. You
I
know?
remember I
All
was
the
still
little
in middle
kids.
school when I was still wiping my brother's asses. They would call me every time they took a
God
shit.
damn, I will
Like, God, these
Jeez.
fuckers, wipe your own ass already, bro.
Oh my god.
I don't think they listen, but bros, if you are, I'm glad you finally learned to wipe your asses.
Yeah, bro, we're so happy about that. Congratulations.
I think my son learned a lot sooner than you guys. I think I was traumatized by that. I'm
all
tired of
kids
wiping asses.
learn at different rates. And I was out
It's true.
our cousins
That
were
is
they were
very true.
his kid. Yeah, and you know, when you have I think it's easier to see when you have multiple kids that every kid is different because it's right in your face. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
They're so
like,
different.
they vary, you know, and you're just like, you know, specifics. But kids are all so totally different. Even like twins. They're so different. And we had cousins over and we were like, look, and they have like a 1 year old, but she is like, whew, like I mean, she's like in full action. So I'm like, they got her a potty, and I'm like, look, you know, because sometimes you go hard on yourself. I was so being hard on myself because, like, I'm talking about this potty training journey has been like
Back and forth.
a back and
You've
forth.
thought you've been
You-
over the road, over the hill, and it went back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. And then you're like, and then like when you shame by accident because that's what you're used to, and you catch yourself, and then you have already like gotten the kid into a bad habit or something because they
Yeah.
start fearing the bathroom. It's like a whole mission. But at the end of the day, give yourself the grace because it's all up to the kid, and the kid will do it when the kid's ready and
Yep.
when they, you know, so hooray for that.
Congratulations. It will stick this time.
For sure.
Well, I had a very eventful weekend, and you know what? I went out on because Saturday we did Alt Pro, and then on Sunday I went out on my dad's boat with my sister because she's visiting from out of town. So my dad, and my stepmom, and myself, and my sister, and my son,
Fun.
I dragged him out. Went out on the boat, and it just reminded me that great day that we had out there because my dad's like boat slip is not far from where we got on the boat for Nadia's bachelorette.
Oh yeah, we had all for our friend's bachelorette party. We had all rented out this fucking sweet yacht. Oh, that was so
It
much
wasn't
fun.
a yacht. It was.
I mean, oh, like a boat. I don't know what a yacht is, girl. Like, this is to me, it's a yacht.
It did. It did have a cabin.
Yeah.
It did have a cabin. I think a yacht is like way bigger, but it's
Is
like
it?
a bigger. It was a big boat with with an inside cabin
Boats and hoes. Boats
and
and
a
hoes.
nice layout.
It was nice. I would do that again. We should do
It
that with
was-
our patrons. We should go
Yes.
rent a boat.
I
with our
kept thinking we got to
patrons.
do this again because we, cruising through the city, and then I was seeing all the other people on charters having a great time, and we went to the sandbar and actually found a good spot. Oh, at first we were like right by this boat that was playing like horrible loud music, and we wanted to die. My son was literally like this on the boat,
Oh no.
and I'm like, dude. Okay, and we moved to the other side and it was so peaceful. I was like, oh my god, what a difference.
Yeah.
My family, my stepmom was like, I didn't even realize how bad that was until we moved. But it was a fantastic day. So we need to do that. That is something we need to manifest next for us to do together. And the other crazy thing that happened to me is the fucking cat. Those of you that know, I got a kitten in December and she's a cat, and she's a kitten. So she's mischievous. She gets into things and we don't really let her out because she's little still. She doesn't have a collar because we don't want her to get like caught on something, with it. And she, even though they have the ones that like break loose, but still. And she's too small to get the chip.
Is that a thing? Cats like get hooked up to stuff because they're like so.
Are you kidding? This cat parkours all over my fucking house. She's like,
yeah, I saw her on your chair. She was doing a number on your chair.
But I've
like,
literally
cat.
seen her like run and then like jump, running off the side of the couch to keep running. Like parkouring, like off of walls and couches and shit. She's crazy. Anyway, she got out. She was outside with my son. We only let her outside if she's supervised. So he was outside with the dogs and her, and I was inside working. And all of a sudden, he runs into the house. He's like, "Oh my god, this is so bad!" I'm like, "What? What happened?" He's like, "I can't find the cat." So we're freaking out immediately, thinking we lost her. That she got out because she's so tiny. She could, fit under a fence or whatever. And we are looking all over the backyard, looking in the front yard. We keep hearing a meowing, but we can't figure out where the fuck it's coming from. The bitch was up a tree in our backyard, like at the tippity
oh my God.
top of the tree.
How stereotypical of her.
Like, and what's crazy is that while we were out there earlier and my husband was out there, she kind of went halfway up the palm tree and went down. And I was like, don't let her do that. He's like, she's a cat. She'll be able to get down or whatever. I was like, if she goes up a tree too high and can't come back down, how the fuck?
You're gonna have to call the fire.
The very same day I said that, later on, she fucking goes up the tree and gets stuck and can't come back down. It was a whole fucking ordeal.
Oh my God.
Trying to get her down. Look, the fire department doesn't do that anymore.
I know. I'm talking shit. I was, of course, I was like, so I was like, so stereotypical. Little kitten gets stuck in the tree.
We had to like bring our ladder out and like get it as close as possible to the tree. And then we were doing the most dangerous thing ever that you're not supposed to do on a ladder, which is to step on the very top one.
Oh, hell no.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So I was stepping on the top one and my husband was holding it while holding my foot.
Oh my God.
And I'm like with a stick tapping down the tree. Well, before I had the stick, it was just like me trying to get her.
How did you get her down then?
This is the steps. This is how we got there. It started with me first on the fucking ladder, trying to get her to come down. She wasn't coming down right. So then I come down and he goes up and I'm like, let me go get a stick. Like we have a toy that's a long stick that has like a tethered toy that, we play with. So I went and got that. And my husband was up there getting her to come down and she was starting to come closer. And I'm like trying to get his attention. She's like, here, use the stick so you can like help guide her down, like, entice her to come down. But since she was starting to make traction, finally, he was like, I'm getting her to come. Leave me alone. Get away from me. And I'm like, use the fucking stick. So like tensions were high, bro. We're all like, ah. The stick ended up helping.
Stressful, bro.
It was hilarious. And it was hilarious. At the moment, it was not hilarious. Now I look back on it. But the stick ended up helping because like we were able to like tap down on the branch, like to follow her here. Like to how to come down. She finally came close enough where I could touch her fucking paw. Like she was so close. I was trying to grab her, and she wouldn't like budge when I would pull her. So then Johnny goes and gets a box. And then I'm holding the box up. And I'm like holding the box up. I'm like, get in the fucking box. Come on. Get in the fucking box. Let me put food in the box. And get in the box. She finally like gets in the box and he starts lowering it. And as soon as like he gets her lower, she jumps on his shoulder and jumps down. And still from pretty up high, she did that. It was fucking bananas, bro. If anybody could see what was happening, that would have been like TikTok gold. Like that would have been so fun.
Look at the
whole ordeal with the cat.
Well, we have come to the segment you have all grown to love so much. It's our News Nugs.
News Nugs, where we get high and read the news to you. All right. All right. I saw this and I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about this.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So heated debate erupts on Reddit over weed etiquette at concerts. A Reddit post and the most popular subreddit,
Am
Am I the
I
asshole?
love this one.
Community is beginning to go viral after ignited a fierce debate. Some concert goers at a clearly stoner-friendly concert refrain from smoking if a pregnant woman is in the crowd. Or should the pregnant woman not be there in the first place if secondhand smoke is inevitable? The responses and opinions about acceptable behavior may surprise you. Yesterday, I went out to see a concert. Redditor vegetable_river_255 posted on Sunday. The band I was seeing has a very heavy drug scene associated with it.
I wonder what band it is.
I was in an assigned seat section and made small talk with the couple next to me while waiting. The user continued. About 10 minutes into the first set, I light up a joint, and about 5 minutes after, the husband complains to me about his wife being pregnant. I told them both, it's a show. You came here and you can choose to leave. And he tried to cause a scene, but nothing happened since I just ignored them both and danced. Okay, it's in the seated section.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. I want to read the whole thing.
I know,
but
I've been to concerts super pregnant. So, yeah. Okay.
I've been as well.
Apparently, the user's roommates took the side of the pregnant woman. I told my roommates this earlier today, and they said I was being an asshole for smoking next to the pregnant lady. Am I the asshole here? The Redditor asked. She Knows reported about the Redditor's brazen admission to smoking near a pregnant woman with no regard for her health or consent. After all, the Surgeon General advises against cannabis use among mothers. Plus, they have to worry about toxicology screenings. Most mothers in the thread agreed and appeared stunned to even be presented with such a loaded question. However, even some pregnant woman in the subreddit took the side of the Redditor who wrote the original post, saying the mother should have known better than to go to that type of concert.
Why does it have to be whatever?
I really want to know what concert
I want to know what concert it is. Look, honestly, to me,
Snoop Dogg?
To me, as somebody that's been to many concerts and has smoked at many concerts.
Same.
And as a fan, I wouldn't if I went pregnant, if people smoked around me, I would be like,
ooh,
I would be enjoying
I wish I could. I mean, like, I could, yeah, right.
They're not going to be blowing it in my face. And, I understand she probably chose a seated section hoping to be away from the crowd, because usually
they're in the
it's
front.
On the front.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, oh, it's a seated section. But still at the same time, like if it's a seated section, that means she's not crowded around other people. So maybe like he's blowing it away the other way.
Yeah.
No, like,
I mean,
it's not, was he blowing it in her face?
I don't think he was blatant with the smoking.
And I don't think secondhand smoke, like, yes, when you're around it constantly, right?
Right.
But for a period of time at a show, and I mean, unless everybody
and if you
around
go to,
her was smoking,
and this is another thing. If it's a heavily, I mean, look, if it's a Cypress Hill concert or a Snoop Dogg concert, like, yo, you know what the fuck you're getting yourself into also.
Saying.
So don't come around here trying to throw
you went to Fish or Dave Matthews Band or anything. Like, there's so many different kinds of music where it's just, that the crowd's going to be smoking weed. If you know this band and you've been seeing it, I'm sure that's going to be happening.
I feel like shield yourself away from it.
I would be annoyed by cigarette smoke
and be like, hey,
but not weed smoke.
I know that's true. Or like a tobacco, like a cigar,
like a cigar,
like a stogie.
So I would be annoyed by that. But those things are not allowed usually indoors anywhere anymore. Cigarettes and like cigars, unless you're like at a casino.
Right. Even when we're smoking weed at concerts indoors, it's just weed. There's no cigarettes going on. Or vapes, but like, yeah.
Okay, well, let's continue. Chaos ensues on Reddit. The users' responses were quite different, highlighting how differently people view our responsibilities as smokers. Yes, YTA, you're the asshole. Wayward Princess 1025 replied, gaining over 35,000 upvotes at the time of writing, you shouldn't be smoking in your seat like that. double YTA for doing it next to a pregnant woman.
Oh boy.
However, if I were her, I would have left or called security to move you. Her and her baby's health is more important than the concert. Others suggested simply walking away from the woman first before lighting up so there's no issue. I smoke weed and cigarettes, and I honestly don't care what the rules are. It's about consent, replied temporary Thai 233. Secondhand smoke is harmful and nauseous,
It's a probably supposed to say
noxious.
obnoxious.
Yeah, harmful and obnoxious. The decent thing is to do is walk away from everyone when you smoke anything. I mean, I usually do that, but at a concert, you really can't. If
Yeah, if your seats, if there's
if there's
seats.
seats, you can't. Like, where are you gonna go smoke if you can't go down to the pit? People who are choose to expose themselves can follow. I can agree. Like,
It's very divisive though.
and it is, and I see their points, but at the same time,
Right.
I don't see. That's the problem. Is that my view of cannabis is different. So, like,
Right.
I don't see that somebody smoking weed around me is going to be harmful for my baby. I'm not going to be all day around somebody smoking weed around me. If it happens at a show for a little bit, I chose to be there and I knew people were going to be smoking weed there. Like, I don't know. It is very divisive and it's hard. I don't know where I stand on this.
I'm just saying, I feel like the part where it's concert
seated,
for the specific band that has a drug heavy content.
What's the band? We need to know.
I know, because that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if you're at like fucking Pink, okay, I'm thinking these are the concerts that I went to. I went to Tame Impala and I went to Pink. I feel like Tame Impala, if somebody would have lit up around me, I would have been like, okay. I would have been like, wow, I wish I was you right now. But whatever. Pink, on the other hand, I would have been like, damn, bro, for real? Somebody's lighting up here? Like, there's families are around here. Either way, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of really important here in the story because if you're going to a Cypress Hill concert or 311 concert or Snoop Dogg concert, like, yo, for real,
like, you
gets to step in. Like, stay home, ladies, stay home. But whatever.
It is a major part of it.
Others took the side of the original poster, like me. I'm gonna be downvoted, but whatever. Sam Mama, who is pregnant, replied, "As a pregnant woman, I know better than to go to a concert and expect people not to be blazing up on stuff. There hasn't been a concert I've been to where that wasn't a thing. Even shitty music. I mean, especially shitty music, probably." She made the choice to go there. She could have moved somewhere else if she didn't like it. But where do you go at a concert that doesn't have pot or worse? You were asked. You refused. That's the end of it. In other words, is it okay for a pregnant woman to attend a concert strongly associated with pot? Think fish. Others appeared to agree with Sam Mama. NTA, not the asshole. I'm assuming it's like a Fish Grateful Dead sort of band. It's basically a guarantee people will be smoking all around the venue. So if the woman was concerned about smoke, she should not be going to that sort of show. Portals of Flight replied. I like how they get everybody's handles. Others took a neutral stance and suggested consuming edibles or vaping in the parking lot beforehand. This, they say, is fairly easy and allows you to be stoned at the show without bothering anyone. That way, everyone's happy. Take an edible, smoke before you come in, bring a vape and hit it outside if you must. So many options these days besides forcing someone else and their unborn fetus to inhale it too.
This is the thing, though. Are you supposed to foresee that you're going to be sitting next to a pregnant woman?
Right.
Anybody cannot want to be exposed to secondhand smoke of cannabis or cigarettes or whatever. But and how am I supposed to, before I light up, I'm supposed to look around at everybody. Is anybody around me pregnant, or anybody around me,
I mean, ultimately, the counter to that is that it's illegal to do that, because even though if it's illegal to some capacity, it's not legal to be smoking it out in the open like it is.
Yeah, I know.
So that's the kind of double negative. Yeah, right. But just because
she could go tell security and they would have gotten kicked out.
They would have gotten kicked out. But, also know your fucking audience. read read the room, bro. Like, if everybody's gonna be smoking weed there, then don't go there. It's gonna be a problem for you.
Yeah, if you don't want to be around weed smoke, don't go to a concert.
Yeah, seriously.
Or if you do, go to one that's outdoors.
Right.
I don't know. That's where I stand. I wouldn't have the problem. I'd be like, damn, light up. I wish I could
I'd
be
be like,
smoking with you.
oh, that smells so good. What is that, motor cake?
Let me just get a whiff.
Let me just get a whiff.
North Carolina Senate approves medical pot bill. The North Carolina Senate this week approved a bill to legalize marijuana, bringing the measure one step away from heading to the state House of Representatives for consideration. The bill, titled the North Carolina Compassionate Care Act, Senate Bill number 3, passed handedly with little debate in the state Senate on Tuesday by a vote of 36 to 10. The bipartisan bill was introduced on January 25th by Republican Senators Bill Rabon and Michael Lee and Democratic Senator Paul Lowe. The purpose of the bill is to allow for tightly regulated use of medical cannabis only by those with debilitating illnesses, Rabon said on the Senate floor before Tuesday's vote. The recreational sale of or use of marijuana remains under the legislation illegal, he added.
If signed into law, the bill would legalize the medicinal use of cannabis for patients with one or more specified qualifying serious medical conditions, such as cancer, ALS, Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, post-traumatic stress disorder, and others. Unlike the more comprehensive medical marijuana programs in many other states, however, the bill does not legalize the use of medical marijuana by patients diagnosed with chronic pain. Before the bill was approved last week by the Senate Judiciary Committee, the sponsors of the bill emphasized that the measure does not legalize recreational marijuana. Instead, the intent of the legislation is to only make changes to existing state law that are necessary to protect patients and their doctors from criminal and civil penalties, and would not intend to change current civil and criminal laws for the use of non-medical marijuana, Rabon told reporters February 21st.
Under the bill, patients with a qualifying debilitating medical condition would be allowed to use medical marijuana. The bill permits the smoking and vaping of medical cannabis by patients whose doctors have recommended a specific form and dosage of medical marijuana. Physicians would be required to review a patient's continued eligibility for the medical marijuana program annually. Smoking medical cannabis in public or near schools and churches would not be legal under the measure. I mean, this sounds like here. The bill requires patients and qualified caregivers to obtain a medical marijuana identification card from the state. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services would be responsible for creating the secure, confidential electronic database containing information about qualified patients. Designated caregivers and physicians, according to the text of the measure. The bill also creates an 11-member advisory panel appointed by the governor and lawmakers to review proposals for new qualifying medical conditions. It sounds very similar to Florida, but North Carolina has always been pretty like tough on cannabis. So I feel like this is like a big deal for
big
them
deal,
finally
yeah.
getting medical at least partially passed so far.
North Carolina bill establishes oversight commission. Additionally, the legislation establishes a medical cannabis production commission to oversee medical cannabis producers and ensure a sufficient supply of medical marijuana is produced for the state's registered patients. The legislation authorizes the licensing of up to 10 businesses to grow, process, and sell cannabis, and permits each producer to operate up to 8 medical marijuana dispensaries. Under the bill, the state would levy a 10% tax on the monthly revenue of each medicinal cannabis producer. The bill also requires regulators to establish a tracking system to monitor production, movement, and the sale of cannabis products from cultivator to consumer. Those suppliers must meet strict requirements for how to locate and operate their facilities, how to grow their cannabis, and how to package and sell their inventory, Rabon said on the Senate floor. They must track every product from seed to sale.
Vertical integration.
Yeah, only one lawmaker, Republican Senator Jim Burgeon, spoke against the measure on Tuesday, saying that marijuana is not medicine and has not been approved for medicinal use by the federal government. It's bad for kids, Burgeon said. I think this bill sets up big government, and I think it can easily be changed to legalize marijuana for recreational use, he added. What?
I like the way you did his voice.
Bad for the kids.
Back for kids. All right. I wish we had a recording of the guy.
What? I made a better interpretation of what he sounds like. So let's leave it at that.
Senate leader Phil Berger, one of the 16 Republicans who voted for the measure, praised Robin and the other sponsors of the bill for their work to gain consensus among their colleagues before the bill came up for a vote by the full Senate. The lack of debate on the floor really is a reflection on how much work Senator Rabin and the other sponsors have done over the past 2 years in just making people aware of what the bill does, answering questions, modifying the language, Berger said. Senate Bill 3 still faces one more vote in the North Carolina Senate before heading to the State House of Representatives for consideration. Republican House Speaker Tim Moore said the bill has some support in the House, according to a report from the Associated Press. If passed by both chambers of the legislature, the bill would head to the desk of Democratic Governor Roy Cooper, who has indicated support for legalizing medical marijuana and decriminalizing possession of small amounts of cannabis by adults. Looks like North Carolina is on their way.
North Carolina.
Yeah, so those of you out in North Carolina that want to see this pass, make sure you write to your peoples and that you want them to vote in favor of this legislation in your state if you want to see this happen.
Yeah, and if you're still listening to this podcast, we hope you go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe, hit like, do a little dance, tell your friends about us.
Make a little love.
Get down tonight. Watch the equipment there, pal.
Sorry. You know, weed makes dry mouth.
I know. Trust me.
And then it's like
I've been drinking the whole show. Water. Hey you guys, it's our favorite segment.
I love you, Miami.
I love you, Miami. All right, let's see. Let's see if we love this story. Florida group submits 420,000 signatures for cannabis amendment, halfway to qualifying for ballot. Yes, that is the same measure we've been talking about for a while now, the one that's being backed by Trulieve, the one without the home grow.
The one that's really primarily aimed at them doing all the growing and making all the money.
The group that is powering a proposed constitutional amendment to legalize recreational cannabis in Florida is halfway to its goal of getting the measure on next year's ballot. According to the News Service of Florida, supporters of the proposed amendment have submitted more than 420,000 valid petition signatures to the state, and they will need to submit at least 891,589 signatures to get on the ballot in 2024. Last month, the committee topped a 898,000 signature threshold needed to trigger a crucial Supreme Court review of the proposed ballot wording, the news service reported. And we reported also previously on the show, if you're a listener.
The group behind the effort, Smart and Safe Florida, is being heavily backed by the medical cannabis company Trulieve, which has a significant presence in the Sunshine State. Smart and Safe Florida launched its campaign last summer. We came into this with a mission to provide access to high-quality products that are safe and have an appropriate value proposition to give folks control over their, in the original days, medical journey. Trulieve CEO Kim Rivers said at the time, I don't think that the changes here, in effect, we are at our core about expanding the opportunity for access to safe, legal product, which is what this would allow us to continue to do.
Trulieve donated $5 million last summer when the campaign launched. Now they're over 25 million. According to the News Service of Florida, the company has spent $25 million as of the end of January on the Smart and Safe Florida initiative.
That's a lot of money.
The amendment would legalize the possession and consumption of cannabis for all adults in Florida aged 21 and older, and would also set the framework for a state-regulated pot industry. Specifically, the measure would enable the state's existing medical cannabis facilities to transition into recreational pot dispensaries.
Florida legalized medical cannabis in 2016. One of the interesting aspects here is that we do have a medical cannabis market and we have hundreds of thousands of patients in Florida who are utilizing medical cannabis regularly. So our ability to reach out and have more direct communication is a bit unique from a positioning perspective, Rivers said in the summer. Activists in Florida have been stymied in their previous attempts to get marijuana legalization over the line, including most recently in 2021 when an initiative was blocked by the Senate Supreme Court. Every initiative has provided some level of learning, Rivers said last year. With this initiative, the authors have taken a hard look at Supreme Court rulings surrounding the previous efforts and taken that into consideration. We believe that it's a very appropriate and narrowly focused amendment that does defer appropriately to the legislature. With a growing population that ranks as the third largest in the country, Florida is a coveted potential market for cannabis investors.
Florida is definitely a market of interest, especially compared to some of the other more mature, more saturated markets, said Jade Green, president of cannabis industry consulting firm Next Titan Capital. The main reason is everybody has a similar belief that whatever happens in 2024, eventually adult use recreational cannabis will come to Florida. If you can make it in Florida until recreational marijuana hits, then you will have a significant advantage in what will be one of the largest cannabis economies, not just in the U.S. but in the world. Green added.
I mean, imagine we're have a heavy tourist presence,
Huge, huge.
so this would be opening the doors for the tourists as well. So people would come here
Yeah,
for that
people.
too.
I mean, we have great weather year round. People come here from all over the world. Come to Miami, Orlando, Tampa. Like we got a lot of major cities, the best, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. So yeah, it's a big market. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, widely thought of as 2024 Republican presidential contender, has
Yeah.
spoken negatively about marijuana legalization in the past. What I don't like about it, you should read it. I want to see your voice for him.
What I don't like about it is if you go to some of these places that have done it, the stench when you're out there, I mean, it smells so putrid. DeSantis
I feel like
said.
he sounds like whiny when he speaks.
Oh yeah, does he? I don't know. I don't
He's
really.
like,
I don't catch those frequencies. My ears don't catch those frequencies.
this smells putrid. No, bro, this smells good. Putrid? Come on.
I don't know, man. These people are getting a move on with their signatures, though. So
Oh yeah.
Best
So
wishes.
let's see. That's a big and like jump.
yeah, that's like double. It is double.
Yeah, that's over 420,000.
Yeah.
They're about halfway there.
hmm
We just might see it on the ballot.
This is our interview portion of our show.
If you made it
I
this
should go,
far,
like,
you
we
should
should
be
do,
a
like-
patron.
We should do like one of those like airplane sounds. Is like ding. You have now arrived to the interview portion of our podcast. So put on your seatbelts. We had a really fun time talking to Fran Symons. We found her on TikTok originally, and we loved her voice, her point of view, and just everything she has to say. She's currently a stay-at-home stoner mom that uses the internet to normalize cannabis. In 2021, she was terminated from her longtime job for failing a drug test for legal THC. Now she's researching cannabis drug testing policy and how she can foster change in that space, even if it's just with TikToks. She had a super interesting story, and we're glad you're here. And here's our interview with Fran.
So you're a new mom, right? You only have
Yes,
one?
I'm a newer mom. Yeah, so my kid turns 2
Oh.
this month actually. So and she's my only kid. So just me, her, and my husband. Family of 3.
What was it like adapting from no kid to one kid?
Oh my gosh, I'm still adjusting. Like I don't know. For the longest time I didn't want to have kids, Like my husband and I have been together since we were 2021. And for a long time we were like no kids. I didn't even want to get married because I got married when I was young and stuff. So it was a big adjustment becoming a mom because I just lived for so long not thinking that was going to happen. And so I actually went through some tough like mental health times like while I was pregnant and stuff because like I could not shake that feeling of like not wanting to be a mom. I'm like, I want out of like, I don't want to do this. This is too much. Like too big of a decision, but it is so much different now that she's 2. And it's so much different now too, since I realized like I don't have to quit smoking weed. Like I thought so many things were supposed to be a certain way, and then I realized they don't have to be any other way than what works for you and your family, and so I love it now. I love it, but it was a big adjustment. I went through some struggles.
So did you at
sure.
first give up smoking cannabis when you became a mom?
I tried to. So like when I know it's like kind of controversial, but like when I first got pregnant, I did stop smoking weed for a little bit. And I had started back up because one, I was going through a lot of mental health struggles. I didn't want to be a mom. I actually did a partial hospitalization program at a mental health facility to help me. And I had hyperemesis. So I was like getting sick all the time, like throwing up all the time. So I was just not doing well. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't keep these pills down. And I know one thing that solves all of those problems. And I hid it from everybody, of course, because like I was so ashamed and embarrassed. And like I thought I was like hurting my baby. Like I thought you evil person. Like there was so much shame. Like it made it really hard to climb out of like the depression stuff, because it was just like there's so much going on at the same time. But I was honest with all my doctors. I was like, I didn't in the from testing positive to my prenatal appointment to delivering, like I was honest all the time with them, letting them know like, hey, I'm smoking weed. I don't want to smoke weed, but I'm doing it because it's the only thing that's working. And to be frank, like no one really gave a shit. I'm not like no lie. My doctor mentioned it one time to me at my prenatal appointment, and he had told me, he said, 8 out of 10 of my OB patients test positive. And I said, excuse me, like
Wow.
where are they at? Where are my friends at? Because I don't know any
They're
of them.
testing all the moms? Like, yeah, I
It's
know. How does
mandatory
it
here. Yeah, they test
really?
prenatal, and then the test that ultimately got me in trouble at work, I didn't even know about. So I think that they test women without even them knowing, because it wasn't like when you log in to see like your doctor stuff, you can see like all of the labs and stuff that they ran, and I only had a couple on there, a couple of drug tests on there, but the one that they told my employer about that ultimately got me fired was one I never even saw. So I'm like, dang, you guys, like, how did you even
Whoa.
know I tested positive? I mean, I
Wait,
was smoking weed, but
I'm a little confused here. Your
yeah.
doctor reported to your employer that you tested
Yeah.
positive? Like, I don't understand how that happened. I thought when I saw in your story that you were let go because of cannabis, but I assumed that maybe it was just your employer that drug tested you because they had like a drug
Oh,
testing policy. So it was
yeah,
actually your
actually.
doctor's office that get. Why would they give that to your employer?
Yeah, it's hairy. So I mentioned I had hyperemesis and I was getting sick all the time. So
Yeah.
I needed some like time off intermittently. Like if I was having a really bad sick day, I didn't need time all the way off. So I had applied for something called FMLA. I don't know if you guys are
Hmm.
familiar. Intermittent
Yeah.
FMLA,
I work
actually. I
in
wasn't even
HR.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I wasn't even filing for full. It was just intermittent, so that if I had a certain number of
Appointments or days.
absences. Yeah. 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 Um, and it was through filing the FMLA process that my doctor, they're supposed to prove like, oh yeah, this person does have hyperemesis. She deserves to have time off, whatever. Which they did say. I mean, they said all that, but they were like, also, she tested positive for THC. Like wasn't even relative to my
Did you speak to
diagnosis.
an attorney about this? Because I feel like this
So
was a huge violation of your rights.
I agree. And there are some other nuances too that were involved in like because the entire process took about 6 months because they put me on mandatory leave and sent me to mandatory drug treatment. And then they ultimately fired me later on once they tested me again. But yeah, it was not okay. They definitely broke rules. And last year I spoke with I think 4 or 5 attorney offices altogether. I had some that were really willing to take on my employer. a previous employer, excuse me. And then some that were like, there's no case here because it's so federal, it's still federally illegal. And what they violated was the ADA, and the ADA is a federal protection. So it's hard for us to say they violated this federal thing when you when under the federal law it's illegal. And so I went back and forth, and I actually went through the process with the Equal Employment Office, and I had an investigator and everything. And she actually issued me a right to sue letter when we were complete with the investigation, because not to throw this person under the bus, this person was very neutral with me as an investigator, but they were like, this isn't cool. You know, like they knew like this is, she was like, you need to talk to an attorney. But ultimately, so my previous employer is kind of like it's a really big company here in Michigan. It's like one of our major utility providers. And so I've been having a really hard time dealing with getting fired. I've been in and out of therapy and getting help dealing with a lot of things. It's just like, I decided to put it behind me, just because I was unsure of how it was going to play out, and it had been going for so long that I needed to like protect my peace a little bit. So I did. And so I decided not to pursue them in court. But the bonus of me not doing that is I can share a little bit more of my story. You know, I didn't have to like sign an NDA or anything like that, like I would have if we settled or something. So there's that. So I do plan on, I typed out a little script that I want to record another TikTok here in a little bit about some of like just the fun details that I never got to share in court, like just how kind of careless shady they were. Yeah. Silly little mistakes that make them like embarrassing for you. You know, like I want to put some of that stuff out there. And then I just want to move on because it's like, it's holding me back. I'm having a hard time. Every time I try to find a new job and I get rejected and stuff, it like triggers me and brings up stuff. And like, it's hard, man. I feel like that, you know, this happened in 2021 and I just, you know, I got to say fuck them at some point and just like get it off me. And so that's what I decided to do.
There really needs to be better protection for people that use cannabis in the workplace, involved with custody of children, all those things. Yeah. Because if it's legal,
exactly,
it's legal in your state to consume cannabis.
It's childish that they would even test for it. It's like
right. They didn't even test her. They fucking got information from her doctor. That's also HIPAA, isn't it?
Like, yes, it's HIPAA violation.
Say anything to your doctor, like what the fuck?
You got me fired.
Yeah, so that was the other thing is like, who do I go after? Because the doctor is the one that really violated HIPAA because in the paperwork, I mean, it, like I said, there's a lot of nuance to this. Like in the paperwork,
paperwork says not to have any pertinent information like diagnosis. Like you don't have to give us that. We just need a doctor giving us clearance.
Yes,
that you do need this time. They don't have to tell us what it is that you have. None of that. Mm-hmm. So they fucked up.
They fucked up bad. And but you know what's kind of cool too is I was just talking about this the other day. You know, I took pride in my job a lot because I didn't go to college, and so I worked my way up to that job. I started there as a customer service representative and then just worked my ass off, you know, and moved up. And so I don't know. I just was so upset because I felt like they fired me and they called it misconduct. And so I couldn't get unemployment. And that was the other part of it is like I was fighting for unemployment for so long and not getting it that I was just giving up, like, fuck it. You know, like I just want to move on. But I was so proud of my job that during the investigation process with the Equal Employment Office, I was able to get my personnel file, which I didn't know, like anyone can get their personnel file, I believe, once they've left the company. They just have to request it. And so that was cool because where I worked was so tedious about, you know, evaluations and stuff like that, that I got like an 80-page personnel file. There's clearly not a black record in my file. There's nothing but good shit on there. You can see that I was on track to, you know, it's on there that I was getting groomed to replace my supervisor for succession planning. And that felt really good, because this entire time, like, even though I know it's not true, like my inner self was kept calling myself a loser. Like, no one knew I
Imposter
smoked weed at
syndrome.
work either. So it was weird. It was like this secret also came out. I felt naked. Like, I felt like all of a sudden everybody was looking at me. Like, not only was I smoking weed, but I was smoking weed when I was pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Feel
it
very
just,
exposed.
yeah, I felt very exposed, but now I feel powerful. I feel powerful. I educated myself even more than I knew at the time. And it's so important, like you said, that companies begin to recognize, I focus on legal cannabis when I talk about this, because it's uphill battle fighting the other one. But yeah, what the hell are we testing for anyway? Like, it makes
What a waste
no
of time,
sense.
money.
Resources. Yeah, it
Stupid.
makes no sense.
Right.
Employers and legal safes need to just stop testing for THC. Yeah,
They do.
just stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like, too, sometimes when you get fired from a job or whatever, like when you get broken up with, even, like,
Dumb.
you have so many questions that are not things that you can answer, because sometimes in the back of your mind you start like putting, like, oh, because it could be people who are just like out to get you, whatever politics at
Hey,
the workplace, you know.
you're not kidding, man. You know what's crazy? So that my company is kind of like very progressive. And that year they announced, they were like, we are going to start 6-month maternity leave. We don't care how crazy that sounds to everybody. We're doing 6-month maternity leave. And so guess who's supposed to be one of the first ones to get that fucking shit?
Oh my God.
And so I was so mad, because I was like, we budgeted, like, it costs so much money, like, after you have a kid and like all that stuff. So I was like, we budgeted that we would be good up until maternity leave. So when you fired me and I guess that's not that unique. It just felt so fucked up. Like, I couldn't find it. I still had stitches. Like, I couldn't find another job. Like, they fired me right after I had my baby, because what had happened was I completed the mandatory drug treatment. I passed the test, because my plan was like, okay, well, I'll just stop smoking weed. I'll smoke weed while I'm off work, and when I go back to work, I'm gonna have to quit, a month before or whatever. But while I was on maternity leave, because I went right from mandatory leave to maternity leave, and I got a call up from HR and said that they need another drug test. And I was like, what for? Because I passed the program, I got the negative test, I did everything that you needed to do, and they said it's a return to active duty drug test. And I said, well, I don't go back to work for months, so when I'm actually going to return back to work, I'll take that drug test. But they were like, no, we need it right now. So that
Wow.
one is the one that I failed, because I was going through some shit, with my family and COVID and stuff. So yeah, I was smoking weed, I was off.
Yeah.
I was off work. I mean, a stress
Yeah.
Twizzler.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to your old job and set the fucking place on fire for you. Like, I'm serious. It makes me so mad.
What's most frustrating is the fact that she had a great record. She was there for many years. She started in a customer service and worked her way up to a corporate level position. You were doing corporate training, right?
Yes.
You have all this great track record, and something that was just brought to your attention by accident.
Accident, right?
You're gonna
that shouldn't even be.
You've invested all this time and energy training this person. You know that they fit. They know that they fit in your work culture. It makes no sense for them to fire you. They're shooting themselves in the foot.
And it sounds like somebody was just being a fucking bitch too.
Dude,
I think it was a liability thing. It was a liability thing, because they're like, because of the fact we know she smokes weed, we can't just look the other way. We have to it's like in Atlanta when she admitted she smoked weed and she got fired.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
that was so gruesome.
We were never going to test you.
Yeah. And get this, you know what my specialty was towards the end? So I did like training and stuff, but then I moved on to do virtual training and like web work and stuff like that. And then what happens is the pandemic, like they could have really used me. I was one of at the time, one of only probably a handful, I don't know, of people that did that kind of work, that did like a lot of virtual conferencing and instruction and stuff like that, which is everything. That's what everything moved to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely like just like a bad business decision, just a bad business decision.
Well, cheers to fuck all that. Now making cannabis content and having these conversations to bring awareness to this.
Yeah, and going forward, the next job you have will not give a fuck about any
That's
of that
right.
shit.
And that was our interview with Fran Symons. Please follow her on TikTok and Instagram. She's at Friends and Flores.
Flores, like flowers in Spanish.
Right.
Friends and Flores. She's so funny. Every time her TikToks show up on my FYP, I crack up.
Yeah, I like her vibes very much so. I think she should totally hang out with us one day in real
For
life.
sure. We need to chill with her. But what happened to her, that's bullshit. Like that
It was
whole
really,
debacle with the test. I mean,
yeah, her employer wasn't even supposed to see those test results.
Yeah.
It was like a slip up
and
from
the
her
fact
doctor.
that she was pregnant at the time and all that. Yeah, that's a lot.
A lot. So, but we love her. And hey, thank you guys for sticking around the entire show. We're so happy you have made it here. We want to thank our sponsors, Fluent, our patrons, Yanni,
Destiny,
Lauren,
Jesse,
Christy,
Denise,
Peaches,
Meredith,
Natalie,
Angelina,
Jenny,
Catherine,
Jay,
Chrissy,
Guillermo,
Diane,
Gabby,
and Leslie. And I can't wait to get a new picture for our next trip.
I
It's coming up in just a
know.
couple
Whoop,
days.
whoop,
If you're
whoop, whoop.
listening to this on Wednesday, I'm already there with one of our patrons. We went a little early to do Disney before we do Universal.
Yeah, so if you would like
Shout out,
to
Lauren.
have your name read out by our lovely faces, or if you'd like to go on vacation with us, become a patron. Oh my God, it's the end of the show. Our tongues are starting to get away from us.
Come hang out with us in Discord. Have a sesh with us. If not, just subscribe, rate, review.
Yeah,
Or
man.
do both. Share our
Dude.
content. Go to our website. Come on
Yeah.
the bud crawl.
Yeah,
All those things.
we love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Tell your friends about us.